Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right? Welcome, everybody. Welcome, our YouTube family and our Facebook family to today's teaching. Right? Happy Sabbath to those who are keeping the Sabbath. All praise and glory be to Yah. Welcome, everybody, to the High Priest Enoch's vision, the chosen leadership. I am the High Priest of Israel, Sekuma Zagami Lambu. And before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and share the URL to this particular teaching to those on Facebook, right? That they may have the opportunity to be a part of today's teaching. So just give me a few moments to do so. Also, those who are watching, take the opportunity to share the link of this teaching to your Facebook accounts, your YouTube channels, your groups, and so forth and so on that you are a part of, that those who are seeking this information would have the opportunity to receive it. All praise and glory be to God the Father. Again, just give me a few moments to share the link so that others may have the opportunity to be a part of this teaching. All praise and glory be to Yah. A lot is happening. We're going to be going over the book of Enoch today, and how it correlates with the scriptures, how it correlates with what is written in regards to the 144,000, in regards to the chosen leadership, in regards to the second Exodus, in regards to all these things and how they correlate. Y'all willing. So we're going to be going kind of fast. Make sure you have a pencil and pen. That way you'll be able to keep up with this information. And I'm going to be talking pretty quickly. Y'all willing? Because again, there's a lot that we're going to be going over today. Now, for those of you who may wonder, why is the high priest going to be going over the book of Enoch? Because the book of Enoch is truth. It is inspired by the Most High Yah. Enoch was around pre-Moses, but yet he saw Moses in dreams and visions, which verified his authenticity and correlation to the scriptures. All praise and glory be to Yah. And of course, I've taught about the book of Enoch before. This isn't the first time. But when I talked about Enoch, the book of Enoch previously, that was before the realization the Most High had given me in regards to the chosen leadership, in regards to the high priest, which I am he, the high priest. So this is an addition to what was taught before. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father, right? The more information the Most High gives, the more understanding one will receive on what is written. And again, we're going to get into it in just a moment. Again, allow me a few moments to share the URL that others may benefit from this teaching. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. And of course, the disclaimer, the 144,000, like I've taught you before, O sons and daughters of Jacob, is chosen from the foundation of the earth. So it's not something that you can desire to be and make yourself a part of. 144,000 is a closed group, right? And they have been selected before the earth was even created. So that means it's an exclusive group, my brethren, as I like to call them. And so though you may desire to be one of the 144,000, unless you are chosen pre-earth by the Most High, you are not one of them, right? There is the 144,000 who are pre-chosen, and then there is the remnant who escape out of Babylon and around the world, who are up under in that day and even now the anointed king of Israel, right? Who are numbered by the Father, those who are meek, those who are humble, those who seek righteousness, are numbered among the remnant. And then, of course, there's the 2/3 of Israel who die, who are Israel of the flesh, who die. And then there's the saints, of course, those who go through the 7-year great tribulation and who do great exploits, who die by the guillotine, and so forth and so on. So the flock of the Most High is diverse. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. So again, welcome everybody to today's teaching. Welcome everyone to the High Priest Enoch's vision, the chosen leadership. I am the High Priest of Israel, Sekuma Zingami Lambu. Welcome Miriam Yayuda. She says, Shalom, happy Sabbath to all. Welcome Easy, Team Lawless. Welcome Ambassadors Walla Idumia and others. Love, unity, and order be unto you. O ye sons and daughters of Jacob. Welcome to those who are also watching on Facebook and YouTube. Right? All right, let's go ahead and get right into this. Again, I have a lot to teach today. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. We're going to first go into the book of Enoch. See if you guys can read that. The book of Enoch, Jubilees, and Jasper. But we're going to first go into the book of Enoch. O ye sons and daughters of Jacob. Right? And we're going to go to chapter 90 in the book of Enoch, where he goes over the final days, right, that we're in right now. All praise and glory be to Yah. Oh, before we go into it, let me go ahead and put my Enoch series in the comment section for those who want a more detailed, full-length teachings of the book of Enoch, right? All praise and glory be to Yah. Just give me a few moments to pull that up and put that into the comment section for those who wish to know, who would apply, should I say. Right? This is the kind of stuff that the powers that be didn't want to be out there. And because of it, they shut down my channel, my YouTube channel, and shut down Sister Miriam Yayuda's channel and so forth and so on. They didn't want this information to be available to the children of the living Yah. But the Most High has made it available, been made it available for those who is meant to understand. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Right? I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the Facebook comment section and also the YouTube comment section. All praise and glory be to Yah. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, I'm not actually going to begin in Enoch chapter 90. I'm going to go ahead and start in the very beginning. First, in Enoch chapter 1. Right? So let's get it. Enoch, the book of the prophet Enoch. chapter 1, verse 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. Okay, so right there, he's letting you know that the time in which he's referring to is the end days. We are living in the end days right now. O ye sons and daughters of Jacob, we are the last generation in which Enoch was prophesying what would happen to in the end days, right? The righteous, the elect, he's talking about the 144,000, the remnant, and the remnant who's going to get into the land of milk and honey, the remnant being in the land of milk and honey, and then the 144,000 being the new powers and principalities that's going to be established once the old powers and principalities, the wicked ones, are brought down. Go back to Enoch. The words of the blessings of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. Also notice he says they're going to be living in that day, right? So the 144,000 and the remnant are both living in the end days, right? That's why I tell you or teach you, O children of Israel, the 144,000, their physical counterparts are alive today. Just like the high priest, who is the first fruit of the anointed, my physical counterpart is right here in front of you, talking with you. My anointed spiritual counterpart, right, is in the heavens above, is preparing for the union, for the birth of the baby. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. The 144,000 spiritual counterparts are waiting for the birth of the baby, the first fruit, the marriage, that they may come down and commune with their physical counterparts that are alive in the world in this generation as we speak. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father, right? So the 144,000 who are chosen from the foundation of the earth, their spiritual counterparts, right, are waiting for the time, for the anointed, for the appointed time, for the birth of the baby, the birth of the first fruit, that the other 144,000 spiritual counterparts may come down and inhabit the physical bodies of their physical counterparts who are alive in this day. All praise and glory, right? Who's also a prophet in the spirit of Elijah, whom the Most High sent down. Reference Malachi chapter 4, verse 4, 5, and 6. Zechariah chapter 3, and so forth and so on. Also in Revelations as well. All praise and glory be to Yah. But for the purpose of time, I'm not going to go over all those various references. Praise be to Yah. Those who know, know. Those eyes that can see and ears that can hear, you're going to see, you're going to hear, you're going to understand, you're going to obey. You're going to follow. All praise and glory be to Yah. Now let's continue. The words of the blessings of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation. Now, the tribulation he's talking about, he's not talking about the 7-year great tribulation, right? That's the reason why it doesn't have the word great in front of it. He just said tribulation. So he's talking about the end days, but he's not talking about the great tribulation. All praise and glory be to Yah. He's talking about Jacob's troubles, right? So the time leading up to the great tribulation. See, when the Most High sits upon his holy mountain, he's, as it is said in First Samuel chapter 2, verse 10, he's going to make war upon his enemies, and he's going to give the scepter of power onto the anointed king, which is my identical twin brother, King Lucifer, and exhort the horn of the anointed, i.e., the first fruit, i.e., the high priest, in the spirit of Eliah, whom he sent unto you, O sons and daughters of Jacob, who's also spoken of in the book of Enoch, and we're going to get to that as well, right? But this is the generation, this is the season, and this is what's going to happen soon come. And because we're close to the hour, the Most High put in my spirit to reveal more truth about what is to come. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. For those who believe. Back to the book of Enoch. Verse 2. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by Yah, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me, and from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but not for this generation, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. So, what he's letting you know, sons and daughters of Jacob, that what his vision was given wasn't for the generation in which he lived, but was for a generation, a remote generation, the last generation at the end of the age, the end of the captivity in which the children of Israel ultimately will go into. And concerning the 144,000, the second Exodus, the remnant, and so forth and so on. What we are seeing now, all praise and glory be to Yah. Now, of course, he also gives visions in regards to chronologically what happened with the children of Israel in regards to first Noah's flood, then Moses, then Hamashiach, and then finally the last vision is regarding the leadership of Israel, the return of Hamashiach at the end of the 7-year Great Tribulation, and then the 1,000-year reign of Hamashiach and the 144,000, and the transformation of the heathens, right, into a new race of people in which is going to inhabit the earth and be pleasing unto the Father, right? These children are going to be the children of the 144,000. But again, so much to do, so little time. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Let's go back to the book of Enoch. I'm going to read that again. Enoch is a righteous man whose eyes were opened by Yah, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me. And from them I heard everything. And from them I understood as I saw. But not for this generation, but not for this generation, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, from his dwelling, from his dwelling. This correlates with what we've been teaching you, O sons and daughters of Jacob. Yahshua HaMashiach comes at the end of the 7-year Great Tribulation. Yah the Father comes in the beginning of the 7-year Great Tribulation. In fact, he's the one that jumps it off. Again, reference 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. When he comes, he's going to empower the anointed king, my identical twin brother, King Lucifer. And he's going to exalt the horn of the first fruit, the anointed. Now, let me go ahead and read that really quickly, because that's relevant. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father, right? That's 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10, King James Version, Bible. All praise and glory be to Yah. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comment section so that those who believe can have access to this information, right? And again, you're not going to hear this from these churches, these man-made religions, these 501c3 church try to deal with the devil camps, because this is not talking about them. Understand this, O sons and daughters of Jacob. The reason why we can teach you these things, because we are the chosen, whom these scriptures speak of. That's the reason why. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Right? Please hold your questions for this teaching, because again, I got to go through a lot of things and I don't want to be distracted. So please hold your questions until after it's over. You can post your questions in the comment section after it's over. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father, O ye sons and daughters of Jacob. Right? And again, on YouTube, they won't allow me to put the whole verse in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. So you're going to have to look it up. All praise and glory be to Yah. Study to show yourself approved, those who are on YouTube. All right. So going back to 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth. I'm going to hold on for a moment. So as you can see right there, that is correlating with what Enoch is saying right here when he says the Holy Great One will come forth his dwelling, and the eternal God Yah will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai, and he shall appear from his camp. Now, Mount Sinai is a holy mountain. This is why the high priest has taught you, O sons and daughters of Israel, that the Most High is going to sit upon his holy mountain. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. It correlates with the book of Enoch and other places in the Bible. Also notice, right, he said he was going to strengthen his king. In fact, let's go ahead and get that, finish that out in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. And he shall give strength unto his king. And he shall give strength unto his king. And he shall give strength unto his king. So, in the time in which Enoch was prophesying about the Most High's return in the final last generation of the captivity, what would he do? Not only would he judge the earth, not only would he judge it from the left and to the right, but he would also strengthen the king in which he had chosen. That king would be living in the generation in which would be delivered. That king is my identical twin brother, King Lucifer. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. You see how this correlates with 1 Samuel, with Enoch, with Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1 through 22, right? All praise and glory be to Yah. Let's continue. And he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. All praise and glory be to Yah. So there is the king and the high priest, whom is the first fruit, who is the first of the 144,000, the anointed. This is why we teach you, O sons and daughters of Jacob, that the high priest is the first fruit. It correlates with Zechariah chapter 3. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. But for expediency, I'm just going to reference Zechariah chapter 3. Those who know. You can let me go ahead and put it in the comments section so that you can read up on it on your own. Right? I've already gone over Zechariah chapter 3. Right? All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Just give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comments section. You guys can read up on Zechariah chapter 3, which references, right, the high priest, whom they call Yahshua, right? But in spirit is talking about the high priest whom he would choose in the last generation, which is what, again, Enoch, the generation Enoch is referring to. As Zechariah chapter 3, where you can get the information. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. What I will do is I will reference in Zechariah chapter 3, right? You want to notice, like I've said before and taught before in previous teachings, you want to notice that the high priest, Joshua, has sinned, right? Because I was talking to a brother in this a little while ago about this truth, and he want to be like, oh, the only high priest is Yahshua Mashiach. And I revealed to him, even though he was haughty and he was hard-headed, stiff-necked, Zechariah chapter 3, and he want to say, oh, that was Joshua who was over Israel after Moses died. What he refused to recognize is that Zechariah was talking about a future high priest. If you look in the Old Testament, Yeshua, son of Nun, didn't have Satan on the right-hand side of him, trying to tempt him, didn't have a meeting with the Most High, right, standing in the myrtle trees, and wasn't sent to the 144,000 brethren, right? So he's not talking about the old Yeshua who's dead. He's talking about the new high priest who wouldn't die. Reference Second Estratus chapter 2, verse 25, 26, 27, in which the Most High says that the two brothers wouldn't perish, meaning they wouldn't die, right? So again, these correlate. I'm not going to be able to go over every last one of them. You're going to have to study to show yourself approved, those who don't already know, right? Because again, time is short. All praise and glory be to God. But the high priest, who is the first fruit, is mentioned in Zechariah chapter 3. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. And then also notice here in Zechariah chapter 3, it says, "Hear now, O Yeshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee." The thou and thy fellows, the thy fellows is the 144,000. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. The thy fellows is the 144,000. Now that correlates back in 1 Samuel. In fact, let's go back to 1 Samuel, right? 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. "And he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed." Right? That part when it says exalt the horn of his anointed correlates with Zechariah chapter 3, specifically verse 8. "Hear now, O Joshua," Joshua being the high priest who would be born in the last generation that Enoch was referring to, the last generation, that far off generation, that remote generation. The high priest, whom they call in the scriptures Joshua, who is I, the high priest Sekuma, the high priest would be born in that last generation in which I am born in this generation, which is the last generation of the captivity. "Thou and thy fellows," thy fellows is the 144,000, in which the high priest is the first fruit of the 144,000. That's why he's referencing the high priest specifically, and then the 144,000, the rest, because the high priest will be anointed first, and the 144,000 will be anointed in subsequent order after the high priest has been anointed first fruit. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. "Hear now, O Yeshua, the high priest, and thy fellows, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee." See, the 144,000, when the high priest, whom is a prophet in the spirit of Elijah, whom the Most High has chosen and sent unto you, as referenced in Malachi chapter 4, verse 4, 5, and 6. When the Most High returns, sits upon his holy mountain, he's going to give the scepter of power unto the anointed king, separate the remnant, and he's going to anoint the high priest into, he's going to exalt the horn of the anointed, making the high priest the first fruit of the 144,000. He's going to bring me up into the heavens above to organize the spiritual 144,000, and he's going to bring me back surnamed after him. And the 144 spiritual counterparts will come down after me and begin to anoint their physical counterparts that are on the earth, one at a time. All praise and glory be to Yah. Now we already know that spiritually, the heads of the anointed have already been sealed. The heads of the 144,000 have already been sealed, as per the book of Revelation. Reference the book of Revelations in regard to the 144,000 heads being sealed. In the spirit, that has already taken place, but it's going to physically manifest soon come. In fact, let me go ahead and put the book of Revelations in the comment section as well, for those that can reference that as well. All praise and glory be to Yah. Again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to fully read Revelations chapter 12. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'm still researching it really quickly. It's not actually Revelation chapter 12. It's Revelations chapter 7, right? Revelation chapter 7. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comment section so that those can read that as a reference. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father, so that you can understand fully what is being taught today. And Esau and Enoch are not the same, because this lamb keeping Israel asked, are Enoch and Esau the same? Enoch and Esau are not the same. They're two different people. All praise and glory be to Yah. To answer your question. But let me go back to putting this in the comment section. And again, like I said, hold your questions for today's teaching, because again, it's a very important teaching, and I don't want to be distracted. All praise and glory be to Yah. Make sure you follow instructions, O you sons and daughters of Jacob. Okay, so in talking about the 144,000, again, you want to reference Revelations chapter 7. I'm going to read a part of it really quickly. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Yah. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed of them which were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, now also understand, O children of Israel, as it is written, Israel, the Most High had Israel, the number of Israel like the sands of the sea. There's a lot of Israelites all over the world. All praise and glory be to Yah. But out of all those Israelites, the Most High has only chosen 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. Only. That's a very, very small percentage, O ye sons and daughters of Jacob. Very small percentage. So again, you can't want to be one of these things and make yourself it. You got to be chosen, right? So the Most High has chosen 12,000 each of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. And then he goes into all the other tribes one at a time, talking about the number of the 12,000 of that tribe being brought into the 144,000 being anointed, right? He's going to start with Judah, the 12,000 of Judah, starting with the first fruit from Judah, which is the high priest, which is I. The anointed king is one of the 144,000. Best believe it, right? But his anointing is going to be last because he is going to rule the children of Israel in the secret place as one of them on their level, so to speak. But the 144,000 is going to be taken from Israel, and we're going to avoid not with Israel. We're not going to be considered Israel anymore. And the anointed king is one of us. He just isn't going to anoint until after his mission has been completed in terms of the Most High ruling the children of Israel through him for days without number, the days of heaven. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Those with ears, let them hear. Those with eyes that can see, let them see. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Right? But you notice he says he's going to start with Judah. And looky, the high priest and the anointed king are both from Judah. As also in the book of Zephaniah, where it talks about the Most High is going to save the tents of Judah first. In fact, let me go ahead and get that really quickly as a quick reference, tying in all these things for the children of Israel's benefit. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. You get that in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 12, verse 7. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, and the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. So we're going to save the tents of Judah first. He's going to anoint from Judah first, and that first of the anointed is the high priest, whom the Most High, the high priest in the spirit of Elijah, whom the Most High sent unto you, reference Malachi chapter 4, verse 4, 5, and 6. So as we can see, right, Zephaniah is talking about Judah being, the tents of Judah being saved first, because the Most High is going to sit upon his holy mountain and give the scepter of power unto the king and anoint the horn of the anointed of the first fruit, both of which are from the tribe of Judah, which is I, the high priest, and the anointed king of Israel, King Lucifer. Also, really quickly in the book of Zephaniah that we want to really quickly reference, right? When I tell you that the anointed king is one of the 144,000, it's just that he's not going to be anointed until after his tenure, right? After the Most High is ruling through him over the children of Israel. Him being anointed, you want to reference Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Yah, and the house of David shall be as Yah, and the house of David shall be as Yah, as the angel of the Lord before them, right? So this is also referencing the leadership, i.e. the anointed king of Israel, right? Being one of the 144,000, all praise and glory be to Yah. He just hasn't not going to be anointed in that fashion until that day, but also showing the Most High is going to rule through him, right? And so forth and so on. Again, in that day, the leadership is going to be as the Most High, as it is written. Again, this isn't my personal opinion. Oh, you sons and daughters of Jacob. You can have that person talking about blasphemy. The high priest is saying that the anointed king, the chosen leadership, is going to be as the Most High. But that's not my personal opinion. It is written. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Right? Let me read it one more time. Again, this is not my personal opinion. It's not my personal opinion. It's the truth. For those who have eyes that can see and ears that can hear. Right? Back to Zephaniah. Actually, I'll keep saying Zephaniah, but in reality, this is Zechariah, not Zephaniah. Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 8. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. So the remnant is going to be as David. They're going to be strong, right? But the leadership, i.e. the high priest and the anointed king of Israel, the two brothers, right? And the house of David, i.e. the leadership, shall be as Yah, as the angel of the Lord before them. Again, you want to reference 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. When the Most High sits upon his holy mountain, he's going to give the scepter of power unto the anointed king of Israel. He's going to rule the children of Israel through the anointed king. That's why the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, right? Verse, get that verse again. Make sure everybody understands this information. Make sure you're all following along. Right? Verse 7, because he says he's going to come to Judah first. Say it to the Judah first. And 8, when it comes to the house of David shall be as Yah. Basically the leadership, right? Because the anointed king is going to have the scepter of power in that day, and the Most High is going to rule through him, right? And the cloud by day, fire by night is going to be sent. And then also with the high priest, who is the first fruit, in which we went over in the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, right? Who's also from the tribe of Judah, who's also from the house of David, being the identical twin brother of the anointed king, right? And he's also, of course, the high priest, the chosen high priest, the first fruit, the anointed. And the anointed is going to be surnamed, right? The anointed is going to be connected to Yah the Father. This is the reason why in the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 8, he's saying that the house of David is going to be as the Most High. Because the leadership in that day is going to be connected to the Father. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father in that day. Now we know the Most High is with us even in this day in the spirit. But soon it's going to be manifested in this plane of existence. The season of proof, right? All these Jakes asking for proof. The season of proof was about to begin. And when the season of proof begins, those who didn't believe is going to be dealing with that shame in that day. Right? So again, you want to make sure you're taking these references. You want to make sure you are studying to show yourself approved. And if you see me looking away or looking around, I have a big screen behind the small screen. And sometimes I look to the big screen, which makes me look away from the camera in which we're doing a live stream on. So don't let that be a distraction. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. And let me go ahead and put the reference of Zechariah in the comment section as well, right? Zechariah chapter 12, verse, give me a moment. Verse 7 and 8. Right? Again, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comment section so that you may read it. All praise and glory be to Yah. I'm unable to put this in YouTube, so I'm only going to put partially in the YouTube comment section. I'm only going to be able to put a partial amount. You're going to have to look that up on your own and study to show yourself approved, so to speak. Right? Okay. So this correlates with what we've been teaching you, O sons and daughters of Jacob, about the chosen leadership. Right? We are in the scriptures. The scriptures talk about us not only in the King James Version Bible, but also in the book of Enoch. Again, we're trying to get a lot of things at once. So just make sure you're referencing these references, that you're doing your due diligence, that you may understand and that you may know. Right? Again, follow the chosen leadership, O ye sons and daughters of Jacob, for this is the way, walk therein. Right? All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Okay, so this is why the book of Zechariah says that the house of David will be as the Most High is because the anointed king and the high priest are both from the tribe of Judah, are both from the house of David. And when the Most High sits upon his holy mountain, he is going to give power unto the king and exalt the horn of the anointed, being the first fruit, being the high priest in the spirit of Elijah, whom he sent forth unto you, O ye sons and daughters of Jacob. This is why we teach you these things. It is all correlated with the scriptures. It is not my personal opinion. Those who think it's my personal opinion is because of ignorance, pride, jealousy, crabs in a bucket theology. Because if you follow the scriptures and you are humble and you are meek, you will recognize that this is truth, not my personal opinion. All praise and glory be to Yah the Father. Let's continue. We're going to go back to the book of Enoch now that we've gotten the biblical references in which the high priest speaks on, right? That those who hear, those who see, who have eyes that can see and ears that can hear, may understand that what the Most High puts in the mouth of the high priest correlates with the written word, even the book of Enoch. All right, let's go back to the book of Enoch, back to verse 5, chapter 1, verse 5. The holy great one will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal Yah will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai, and he shall appear from his camp. He shall appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens, and all shall be smitten with fear, and all the watchers shall quake, and the great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth, and the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low. They shall melt like wax before the flame, and the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder. That's that great earthquake that's coming, that the Most High gave me a dream about. That great earthquake when he reveals himself. That's about to happen at any moment. All praise and glory be to Yah. And all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. Now, of course, this is in a period of time. All praise and glory be to Yah. But let's continue. But with the righteous, he will make peace and will protect the elect. Again, that's the remnant, and that's the 144,000. And mercy shall be upon them, and they shall all belong to Yah. And they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed, and he will help them all. And light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. Now, and light shall appear unto them, right? Now, the light of the Lord, the anointing, 144,000. Light is going to be upon them. They're going to be anointed, starting with the first fruit. Also in spirit, the cloud by day, fire by night, being brought unto the camp of the king, where the remnant is going to be gathered up under the king. Right? So again, all of these things are going to take place soon come. Going on, right? It says, and he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with 10,000 of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Now, of course, again, this is still a period of time. It's gonna begin in the 7-year great tribulation, when the Most High sits upon his holy mountain, right? Giving the scepter of power unto the king, anointing the head of the first fruit. Then the process of the 144,000 being given light, the remnant being separated, brought into the ultimately then brought into the land of milk and honey. The 7-year great tribulation with the Antichrist and the false prophet. Then the Most High sending the Hamashiach back unto the world in order to deal with the Antichrist, the false prophet, bringing down the one world government, the one world army, the one world economic system, the one world religion, with the 144,000 after the marriage, and so forth and so on. And the rest, we shall say, is history. But this is a lot of information, all you sons and daughters of Jacob. I want to make sure to put this in a 1 hour. That way the children of Israel are able to read the references given and to process the amount of information that's been revealed. And y'all willing, I'll do another teaching a little bit later, maybe in 30 minutes, maybe in an hour. Y'all willing, I'll do another one if the Spirit be still upon me. Thank you all for joining us here today at the High Priest Enoch's vision, the chosen leadership. I am the High Priest of Israel, Sekuma, Zingami, Lambu. Thank you all for joining us, and I will see you again next time. Thanks and shalom.